Hi there, this is Kevin Chang from Do Your Dream Work, and this is part 2 of a two-part detailed comparison that I go into between Thinkific and Podia. Now, Thinkific has been a very popular online course platform for a long time now. It's well regarded, and a lot of folks use it. Podia, in the past few years, has also been gaining a lot of steam. So how does Podia stack up with Thinkific? That's the reason I went into this comparison. Now, in part 1 of this comparison, I compare them on the pricing at the various different plan levels, transaction costs, if any, and I also went over the various different ways you can allow your students to pay for your courses, as well as when do you get access to email marketing services. Now, that was part 1. In part 2 of the comparison, and that's this video that you're watching right now, I'm going to go into other key features and capabilities, like when do you get access to Zapier, a particularly important automation tool, when you get to drip release your lessons, when you get to offer PayPal as a payment option to your students, when you get to offer affiliate marketing, which is where you have your students help to market your courses to their own audience. And then I also go into, can you have your blog on your Thinkific site or on your Podia site? Because if you can, and you can have your blog for marketing your courses, all the pages that actually house the lessons of your course, if you can have all of the pages involved in your online course business all in one place, then you can skip having a separate blog on a service like WordPress or Squarespace and skip having to pay for, on an ongoing basis, a separate blog. So by the end of this video, you will know if that can be done. So alright then, with all that said, let's dive right into part 2 of my comparison between Thinkific and Podia. Alright, let's move on to a few other relevant features. Now, when can you start offering PayPal as a student payment option? Now, for Thinkific, on the free plan, you can offer both Stripe and PayPal. So in other words, you can accept both credit cards and PayPal. With Podia, in order to offer PayPal as an option, you do need to upgrade to the first level paid plan, the mover plan. Alright, next is when can you start to drip your course content? So dripping is you're not allowing your students to get access to all of your course lessons, all of your course's content right away. You're delaying, let's say, next week's lesson to next week and the following week's lessons to the following week. So in that way, you can manage your students going through your course. So now here with Thinkific, you do need to upgrade to the first level paid plan, which is Thinkific's basic plan. Now for Podia, the situation is like this. You can set up your drip schedule, and drip scheduling just means how much of a time delay, usually in number of days, you want a certain section of your course to be available to your students after they purchase. So for instance, anybody who purchased your course, let's say you want section 1 to be available to them immediately, but you want section 2, the next section, to be available for them to access 7 days after purchase. And you want section 3, the next section after that, to be available to your students 14 days after purchase. You can set all of these time delays up on the free plan on Podia. But as I've mentioned in part 1 of this comparison, in order to actually sell a course, even just one course, you do need to upgrade to the first level paid plan, the mover plan in Podia. So for the drip release feature to be activated and actually deployed for both platforms, you do need to upgrade to their respective first level paid plans. That's the basic plan for Thinkific and the mover plan for Podia. Now, there are a couple of important differences in terms of the drip release feature between Thinkific and Podia. One, in Thinkific, on the free plan, you won't be able to even see the drip scheduling feature, and you won't be able to do anything. You won't be able to schedule the time delays. You need to upgrade in order to see, have access to, and use the drip feature on Thinkific. Now on Podia, as I just mentioned, you can set up the drip scheduling on the free plan. Now, just to show you what that looks like, I'm on the Podia free plan right now, and this is the back-end setup page for a given section that I've set up. So for this section, I have the title, the name of this section, and then a brief description of what this section is about, what the student will learn in this section. And then the last option here, the last setting I can set is the drip schedule. And by default, it's set to, let me just zoom in so you can see. All right, I've zoomed in quite a bit. So as I said, the drip scheduling is just setting a time delay for a given section. So by default, the time delay is set at available immediately. So if I wanted to drip release this section, I wanted to set a time delay for this section to be available for the student to access a certain number of days after they purchase it. I would just select this section down below, and section is delayed 0 days from access, and I can change that 0 to however many days I like. Let's say I want this section to be available 7 days after they purchase. Then I can also, and this is checked by default, send an email notification, and this is sent out from Podia automatically, so that's really good. So whenever the section, let's say it's 7 days now from when they first purchased it, along with the section becoming available for them to access, an email is automatically sent to this student, letting them know that, hey, this section is now available. And you can also edit the email subject line of this email, and as well as the body of the email. Now, the second difference is that Thinkific offers you finer granularity when it comes to drip scheduling. So what I mean by that is that Thinkific allows you to set a different time delay for each lesson, even if these are lessons within the same chapter. Now, what Thinkific calls chapters, Podia calls sections. And on Podia, you're only able to set a time delay for the entire section. So you can't set a different time delay for the lessons within the same section. So in other words, you can't have lesson 2 be available 2 days after lesson 1 is available, for instance, if they are part of the same section. So again, you can only set up time delays for entire sections on Podia. All right, next is affiliate marketing. So this is the ability to have your existing students market your course to their own audiences, and you give them an affiliate commission for every sale they make. Now, since this exposes your course to audiences other than your own, this can certainly lead to higher sales of your course. Now, with Thinkific, you have the ability to do affiliate marketing when you upgrade to the first level paid plan, basic, and on Podia, you have the ability to start doing affiliate marketing when you upgrade to the second level paid plan, which is their Shaker plan. All right, next, let's look at integrations with Zapier, the automation tool. For either Thinkific or Podia, at what plan level do you get access to integration with Zapier to be able to use Zapier? Now, Zapier is a crucial tool nowadays for online businesses in general. For the cases, and there will be situations where there are no integrations with particular tools available, period. So you can't actually connect your Thinkific or your Podia account to additional functionality. Now, through using Zapier, you can make that connection between either Thinkific or Podia and that other software application, and thereby be able to gain that additional functionality. In fact, I have another video where I walk you through how to connect your Thinkific free plan account to ActiveCampaign using Zapier. I'll include the link down below this video if you want to check that out and see how to use Zapier to make that connection. So all right, now let's take a look first at, with Thinkific, when do you get to use Zapier? Well, there are two different capability levels when it comes to using Zapier. There are triggers and there are actions. You get to use Thinkific as a trigger when you upgrade to the first pay level plan, Thinkific's basic plan. Now, using Thinkific as a trigger app just means that when something happens in Thinkific, that will serve as a trigger. So Thinkific will pass along some data and also let another app know to do something with that data. An example would be an example that I mentioned earlier, which is when someone signs up as a new student, Thinkific will pass along that new student's info, their name, email address, etc., to your email list at whichever email marketing service that you use. So you're adding that newly signed up student to your email list. That is using Thinkific as a trigger. And that capability comes on board for you when you upgrade to the first level paid plan in Thinkific, the basic plan. Now, the other Zapier capability level is using Thinkific as an action app. And that actually means it includes being able to use Thinkific as both the trigger and the action. Now, being able to use Thinkific as the action app means something happens in another app that serves as a trigger, and connection is made to Thinkific and data is passed to Thinkific for Thinkific to do something based on that trigger happening. An example of using Thinkific as an action app is, let's say you use an external app for processing refunds. And let's say a student requests a refund and that refund is processed. Well, that external app will send that information to Thinkific for Thinkific to essentially remove that student from the active status so they can no longer access that course. So Thinkific in this case is acting based on the trigger of someone canceling or requesting a refund. So this capability of Thinkific performing an action based on some trigger, that capability comes on board for you if you upgrade to the Pro Plus Growth package. So just to note here, it's not just the Pro level, but it's the level above that essentially is the Pro Plus Growth package. Now for Podia, similarly, you get access to being able to use Podia as the trigger as well as using Podia as the action at separate plan levels. So you're able to use Podia as a trigger when you upgrade to Podia's first pay level plan, which is their mover plan. And in order to use Podia as the action app, you need to upgrade one level higher, which is their second level paid plan, which is their shaker plan. All right, so that's when do you get access to Zapier for both Thinkific and Podia. All right, now we come to an important consideration, and that is, can you have a blog on your Thinkific site or on your Podia site? And the main reason you would think about that, and that's an important one, is that if you can have your blog on either your Thinkific site or on your Podia site, then you can skip having a blog externally and you can save on the ongoing expense of having a blog. For instance, using WordPress or having a Squarespace site as your blog. Now, for a lot of people, you're doing content marketing for your courses on a blog. So you're building your email list, you're helping your prospective students make progress, and you're nurturing them down the steps of your funnel so that they arrive at some point at the course sales page for your course. So a lot of this content marketing activity happens on your blog and with the content that you put on your blog. And as I said, a lot of people have their blog either on WordPress or on Squarespace. I myself, for example, currently have my blog on Squarespace, and I spend a few $100s a year to have and maintain my blog on Squarespace. And this is a fixed ongoing expense of being an online course creator. I'm always going to need a blog to market my course, to help my audience make progress, to build my relationship with them, to build their trust in me, etc. So if I can reasonably build a blog on either Thinkific or Podia, and it's not too ugly and messy a solution, then I can potentially ditch my Squarespace blog and save on the ongoing expense of having a Squarespace site. Now, I just said that I hope it's not too ugly or messy to do this, and that's because neither Thinkific nor Podia has a built-in content management system or blogging capability. And that's not surprising because Thinkific and Podia are not created to be blogging platforms. They are online course platforms. So we're going to need to use workarounds in order to have blog functionality on either Thinkific or Podia. The question is how easy it is to do this and to maintain this blog functionality on an ongoing basis, and does it require manually hacking a lot of things together in order to make this happen? Now, thankfully, I can say that yes, there are doable, viable workarounds. So now on both Thinkific and Podia, they're actually the same workarounds. So in Thinkific's Help Center, there's actually an article talking about this, and it answers this question, and this is on my screen right here. Can I add a blog on Thinkific? And the answer from Thinkific is that while we don't offer a built-in blog feature right now, if you need something fairly simple, then you can use our custom pages feature. All right, so this is one way, and a custom page is the way that you would build any page that's not a standard page like a core sales page on your Thinkific site. And you would just choose a custom page and you would build that section by section down the page, and you would literally manually be building the sections of a page that your blog post would go on. Now, another solution that's not mentioned specifically in this answer here is that you can create a free course on Thinkific with all the lessons in that free course be previewable. And you can choose to have your lessons be previewable or not. So if you make all your lessons previewable in that course, and it's a free course, basically that's the equivalent of a blog where your lessons are your blog posts, and that's going to occupy most of the page on the right side, and on the left side where you have the navigation that normally your students would use to navigate the lessons of your course. Now you can use that to organize your blog posts based on date or based on the topic of the posts. Now again, I think these two are really good workaround methods for creating a blog on your Thinkific site. And that's because you're already going to be familiar with the process of creating your lessons in your course and in general creating your course structure. And so it's the exact same process if you use the free previewable course method of creating a blog on your Thinkific site. Now, if you use custom pages, if you go that route to create a blog on your Thinkific site, you're already going to be familiar with building custom pages. If you've used it before to build certain other pages other than the standard sales page on Thinkific. So again, you're going to already have familiarity with those two processes. So now what about Podia? Well, it turns out that in Podia, you use the exact same two methods that I just mentioned, workarounds, to creating a blog on Podia, even though, again, on Podia also, you don't have a native built-in blogging capability. Now, this is a help article from the Podia Help Center. And again, they say how to create a blog on your site. And the answer to this is, while we don't offer an official blogging tool, there are a few ways to create a blog structure using Podia. And it actually lists 3 ways, and 2 of the ways are the exact same ones I mentioned for Thinkific. The first method, creating a previewable course. You set the course as free and you set each lesson as previewable, and we just talked about that. And the second method, utilizing custom pages. We just talked about that for Thinkific. So these 2 are actually the exact same ways, workarounds, that you would use for Thinkific. Now, I am new to Podia, but I have already built some lessons and some sales pages for Podia, and I can tell you that in terms of ease of use and the ease of building out the lessons and course structure for your courses and building the sections for your course sales pages, etc., they are just as easy to get the hang of doing as Thinkific. Now, these 2 methods are just as viable workarounds for Podia. Now, Podia actually gives you a third way of doing this. In their community feature, there's a way for them to show posts to the public when you make that community a free community and after your audience members actually sign up for that free community. Now, in this case, because someone has to sign up for your free community in order to see the public posts in there, it's an extra step of signing up that I think is a little bit awkward. So it doesn't seem at the moment that this third method is as good as the other two. Now, I just want to show you what creating your blog by using the method of creating a free course with all the lessons in that course being previewable, what that looks like. A customer of Podia has done this, and they've done a really great job at this, and apparently they've given permission because it's a site that this help article links to as an example of what that would look like. So I just want to show you because I think it's a really good job that this person has done, and it showcases that you can do this fairly well using this method of a free previewable course. So now this is inside this structure that normally it would be like your student looking at the course area, and most of the right side of the screen would be the content of a lesson. All right, and the left side, the navigation, would be for you to navigate through the lessons of the course. In this case though, this person has made this a blog, so you're looking at essentially a blog post, and it looks just like a blog post. You have links, and on another blog post, he also put up a video, so you can have the different content types. And on the left side, he's grouped the blog posts by date. So August 2022, April, etc. So I think that, and you could also, as I mentioned before, organize the navigation based on the topic or the subtopics of your blog. And when I go on the left side navigation and I choose another blog post, it goes right to that blog post, and again you can consume that blog post, their images, videos, etc. So I think this is a viable, good workaround method of creating a blog, even though Podia doesn't have native blog capability built in. And similarly for Thinkific. And even though I don't have one done on Thinkific to show you right now, it should work and look the same way. So alright, this has been kind of a little bit of a long-winded answer to this question of whether or not you can add a blog to either your Thinkific or Podia site. And for both, the answer is yes. And they essentially are the same workaround methods of either using a free course with all your lessons being viewable, or you can use custom pages to build the pages where your blog posts would go on. Alright, now before I leave the topic of adding a blog on either Thinkific or Podia, I just want to mention that the two workaround methods I just described for both Thinkific and Podia, they don't add to the cost of you having a Thinkific or Podia site. And if successful and you have your blog now on either Thinkific or Podia, you can ditch the expense of having a WordPress blog, a Squarespace blog, or a blog on any other platform. And again, because that's a fixed ongoing expense, the savings will add up over time. Now on Thinkific here, in the same answer to the question, can I add a blog on Thinkific, there's another solution that's mentioned here. So aside from the custom pages feature, it says an easier and more powerful solution would be to install the drop-in blog app from the Thinkific App Store. So drop-in blog, and let me just keep reading this. This third-party app allows you to quickly integrate blog content into your Thinkific site through a custom site builder section. The drop-in blog service also includes some useful content management tools. So this is a true blogging type of app and functionality. And it also includes built-in SEO analysis. Now, while this might not be as attractive a solution because I'm pretty sure the drop-in blog app has a cost to it, but if it's not as much as maintaining either a WordPress blog or a Squarespace blog, it's still worth considering. So I'll also be testing out drop-in blog in the days to come, and I'll record it when I do, and I'll show it to you in a upcoming video. Now this is the page on Thinkific's App Store for drop-in blog, and it says add a blog to your site in 3 minutes, grow your SEO, no WordPress needed, and it claims to be a true WordPress alternative. All right, so the last thing I want to go over in this Thinkific versus Podia comparison is how's the process and the experience of actually building out the lessons of your course on either Thinkific and Podia, and also the process and experience of building your course sales pages, etc. Is one platform easier to use for building your course and sales page? And the answer there is that both platforms, both Thinkific and Podia, are easy to use. The ease of building your course structure, the ease of building your sales pages are among the strengths of both platforms. And so while my answer doesn't help you choose one platform over the other, they are both easy to use in terms of actually building out your course structure and your sales pages and any other relevant page related to your courses, memberships, and other related products. And not only is it easy to use, the way that you build your course structure on both platforms are actually quite similar. So let me just give you a very quick sense of that. So right here, I'm on my Thinkific course back end where I can just go ahead and add a lesson, and I'll do that. I'll click add lesson. It prompts me what type of content I want to add. I'm going to pick video, and then the next thing I'm prompted for is, for this new lesson, what's the title of the lesson? Upload a video for it. And below that, there are these settings I can choose, and one of which is to make this a free preview lesson. And this is per lesson. So for each lesson, you can decide whether or not you want to make this a free preview lesson. And in the case of making this a workaround for a blog, this is where you can choose to make this a free preview lesson. And so this essentially becomes a blog post. Now the workflow is very similar in Podia. So this is my courses backend in Podia, and I'm going to add a lesson to this course that I've already started, and new lesson. And when I do that, it asks me again what kind of content I want to add. I'm going to choose add embed, which is a way of saying I want to add, among other types of contents, video. So when I click that, it prompts me for the title of the lesson. So again, very similar to Thinkific, and it asks me to upload the video. And then below that, there are some settings such as customer can view this lesson, meaning it's visible, or I can actually make it hidden, this lesson, and also whether or not site visitors can preview this lesson. So again, this is a way for me to make this previewable for everyone, for the public, essentially. So if I wanted to do this workaround for making this a blog, this is where I would do it. So again, I want to highlight here though how similar the process of building out your lesson, your course structure is in both Thinkific and Podia. And they're both easy and quick for you to come up to speed. And similarly, the process of creating a sales page is very similar between Thinkific and Podia. Again, for both platforms, it's easy for someone new to creating a sales page to come up to speed quickly and get the hang of how to do that. All right, so just some final comments on my Thinkific versus Podia comparison. Now, someone might ask, so which is the better platform, Thinkific or Podia? As you might imagine, the answer is you really can't make a blanket statement about which platform, whether Thinkific, Podia, or even some other online course platform. It really depends on the particular features that are important to you based on your particular needs and based on how you prioritize the set of features that are important to you. There are features that are more important to you, I'm sure, and there are ones that are important, but you could either do without or do with less functionality on that feature. So now, even though I can't give you, and I don't want to give you a short and sweet answer, what I can do and what I'm going to do right now is to give you 3 scenarios. And if any of these scenarios fits where you are currently, then I'm going to give you one of these 2 platforms, Thinkific or Podia, that I think might be more attractive to you or might give you more value. And I'm going to give you my reason, of course. So, scenario 1, you're researching online course platforms and you want to try out an online course platform on their free plan, and you're interested specifically to see how far you can take a free plan of one of these platforms. Because the farther you can take the free plan on that platform, the more features, say, you can try out, and the better you can evaluate whether or not that platform is for you. Now, in this case, I think Thinkific offers you more on their free plan than Podia, because you can build out completely and sell one course for real, meaning you can actually enroll paying students without paying any cost. You're not paying anything for using the free plan. It's a free plan. And the only transaction fee is charged by Stripe for each purchase. So Thinkific is not charging you any transaction fee or any other cost at all on their free plan. It's only the transaction fee charged by Stripe for accepting credit card payments from your students, which you have to pay no matter which platform you're on and no matter which plan level you're on. So Thinkific offers you an outstanding deal on their free plan. And Thinkific on its free plan will host all of your video content, no matter how many videos you have. So if you have a 50 video course, and if that's your one course that you're trying out Thinkific on its free plan, Thinkific will host all 50 videos. So right then, again, I do think Thinkific is a winner here if you are looking to try out on the free plan, not just building out, but selling an actual course, enrolling paying students to see how you like the platform. All right, now scenario 2, if you got a course and the price is at a level that you think some of your students might not be able to afford the entire price upfront, and you want to offer installments, let's say you want to offer 3 installments. Now, Podia allows you to choose that pricing. So you can select monthly installments and you can pick the number of months, etc. Now, again, you can't actually sell a course unless you upgrade to the first level paid plan in Podia, which is the mover plan. Now, Thinkific, though, requires you to upgrade to their second level paid plan, the Pro plan. And as I've mentioned in the part 1 of my comparison where I went over pricing levels, their pricing are roughly comparable. So the second level paid plan for Thinkific is going to cost that much more than the first level paid plan on Podia. So you need to pay more in order to be able to offer your students the ability to pay in installments. So if you're offering a course for a few $100s or whatever the amount that you think your students would find it a stretch to have to pay the entire cost of your course upfront, then it will be more affordable to you to be able to offer your students the ability to do multiple payments or multiple installments. So I believe Podia edges out Thinkific there. All right, then scenario 3, my final scenario. This is short and sweet. If you want to offer a membership, if you want to offer that type of product, and so you're going to be charging your students a subscription or recurring payment for your membership, the price of entry for you to be able to do that is also lower on Podia. Once again, if you upgrade to the first level paid plan on Podia, which is their mover plan, you can do that. For Thinkific, you will need to upgrade to their second level paid plan, the Pro plan, in order to be able to charge recurring payments, aka subscriptions, for a membership type of product. Podia gives you better value because it will cost you less to be able to do this. Alright, so that wraps up part 2 of my 2-part comparison between Thinkific and Podia. Now, if you haven't watched part 1, or if you want to just re-watch it, I put the link to part 1 of this comparison below this video. Now, just as a quick mention, in part 1 I went over the pricing at the different plan levels, transaction costs, if any, different student payment options, as well as when you get access to email marketing services and other features and capabilities. So now, after you've watched both parts of my comparison, I am super curious to know which online course platform, Thinkific or Podia, do you think would work best for you? If you haven't signed up for either one of these platforms yet, which one would you want to try out? And let me know why. What features are important to you and make you think either Thinkific or Podia is the right platform for you? Just let me know in the comments below this video. Alright, now if you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel here by hitting the red subscribe button. And besides clicking the subscribe button, also click the bell so that you don't miss any notifications that I just posted a new video. On my channel here, I post new videos on a regular basis on the various different aspects of helping you overcome the tech challenges of creating and selling your online course. So be sure you subscribe so you don't miss any time I post a new video. Alright now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.